Hello everyone, welcome to the Go Snippets channel. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. This channel is all about the Go programming language. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe, and if you like this video after watching, make sure you hit the like and also share the video, and also hit the notification bell if you are new to the channel, so when I release new videos you'll be the first to be notified. So today we'll be talking about CRUD with Go and MongoDB. So CRUD is just the acronym for create, read, update and delete, which are like the four basic operations that are done when you are working with databases. So we'll be working with the MongoDB database today using Go. So with that, let's start. So the first thing we'll be doing is actually connecting to our MongoDB database. And to connect to our MongoDB database, so first of all, these two packages here, the drivers, are one of the drivers out there for Go and for MongoDB in Go. So there are other drivers. I know of two. I know of this one, and there's one other one, Go Mongo driver. I think that one is the official driver. I'm not sure, that was made in MongoDB, but I'm not sure. But the reason I'm actually using this one is because MGO is like the easiest to use. So MGO is like the easiest driver to use so far out of the two of them. Those are the only two drivers I'm familiar with. But MGO is very easy to use. So to connect to, you have to go get. If you don't have this, you have to go get Go package. So you have to run go get. You have to run go get. So let me clear this out. So you have to run go get go package .in /MGO v2 package. So you can put the -u flag to get the latest version, the updated version. So that is that for that. So the first thing we're doing now is connecting to the database. And to connect to the database, so from package MGO, we'll be calling the function dial, and dial takes in our session string. So that will just be MongoDB local host 27017. So this is like the default port for MongoDB. So this one returns two values. It returns a session and an error. So we'll check for the error. So I think we should panic, because I made a video on error handling in Go. Although in that video I didn't mention panic, because most times when you're handling error, panicking is not usually the best way to go. But in this case, if we can't connect to the database, I don't think we can do anything else. So panicking is okay here. So we'll just panic forms.print. So I'll say error creating connection and percentage, then the error. So panic just shuts down the whole program if there's an error. So I have to import fonts. So the next thing now is I have to close this, because it has a close method on it. That's the next thing. So at this point, if everything goes well, we shouldn't see an error. But just to be sure, if we're actually connected, we can call a ping method on the session. So we can say if session.ping, if session.ping, and this one returns an error. So if error is not also, so I just assign now, we're checking at the same time. So we'll just print out an error pinging MongoDB. So then we return if there's an error for any reason. So I have to import log. So now at this point, if there's no error at this point, you should be sure that everything is okay. But just to like also make sure that things are still, if we are not too sure, so I'll just quickly call. So the next thing is that just to make sure that everything is okay, so I'll just quickly call a database and also the collection we're going to be working with. So the database we'll be working with is, so this session has a method db. So this method db is used to call the particular database you want to work on. So the database I'm working on is database Golang. So I'll be assigning this one to DB. So database Golang was already set. So I've actually set database Golang in my MongoDB. So if you don't know how that happened, I guess you have to go and watch a video on MongoDB on a channel that has to do with MongoDB, because that's outside the scope of this video. But definitely check out how to install MongoDB, create databases, create collections and stuff. So then from here we'll call the collection. So to get our collection database, we'll call the method C on this database. So collection should be db.c. So C is actually used to call the particular collection we want to get documents from, or create documents, or want to use for our CRUD. So this one just calls the name of the collection, which is go CRUD snippet. So I've actually set all this down before. So that's the next thing. So we can just quickly check the number of documents in our collection. Should be collection count. So if there's an error while trying to get the number of documents, we'll just log to standard output. Could not get the number of documents in go CRUD snippets collection. Then the error, then we'll just return if there's an error for any reason. So the way MongoDB works is that you have your Mongo connection, then you have different databases. In other databases you have collections, in other collections you have documents. So those documents are actually in BSIN format. So BSIN is just binary JSON, which is another variant of JSON. So when you hear BSIN, it's just JSON. Sprint name. So from here we'll just print the number of documents we have in the collection. So if there is no error, so let's run our code and see what we get. So I should be having 0 as our num doc, because I haven't inserted any documents into the collection. So we should be having 0. I'm not using the package I imported, so I'll just comment this out for now, because I'm not using it. So I'm having 0, so everything is working fine. So from this point moving forward, what we are just going to do is that, so now that we've confirmed that our connection was successful, it's supposed to be format print f, but not sprinkling. So now that we are sure that we've connected successfully to our database, we'll just simply cut some of this code out. So we'll cut this ping out. We don't need this ping anymore. Then we'll cut this part out. We don't need all this part too anymore. So now what we'll just simply do, so this collection is of type pointer to NGO collection, and this DB is type pointer to database from NGO. So we'll just simply create a global variable. We can just say var collection. So we'll be able to access our collection globally. Var collection of type NGO collection. So we'll just simply say collection should be equals to this. So that means we can access our collection globally now. So the next thing I will now do now is we now start creating. So we'll do our CRUD now, create, read, update, and delete. So first of all, first define a user struct. So I'll say type user struct. So I'll give it a first name. I'll give our user a first name, first string. I can give it a JSON struct tag to be bsyn first. This is one of the reasons why I like Go. It has support for JSON, XML, bsyn, and a lot. So first, last, last. So if you don't actually specify this, it will be stored in the database. So these tags are just the way each of these fields will be stored in the database. So this field first to be stored as first in the database, field last to be stored as this. So it's whatever we specify here that the particular field will be stored as in the database. So if you don't specify it, it will just be stored as each of these fields exactly the way they are, but in lowercase. So we'll do gender, bsyn gender, then we'll do age. So age should be an integer instead of a string. So bsyn age. Yes, I think that's that. So we'll just simply create 4 functions. Now, first one is fun create user. Let me use camel case notation. I like using camel case notation most times if I have to use it, because I don't know, maybe because I also write JavaScript. So fun create user. So then we'll do func get user. So this create user this one is similar to create. So we are doing CRUD, create, read, update, and delete. So create is create user, then get user. So this one is just to read. Then we func update user info. So this one is update, and then func delete user. And this one is delete. So that's our CRUD. So func create user just takes in the first name, the last name, the gender, and these ones are strings, and then the age, integer. So I think you should return an error if we have one. So I think you should return an error because we might come across an error along the way. So all we just simply do is that. So to create a user, we just simply create. First thing we first do is create a new user. So u will be equals to user first, last, gender, and age. So create a user. So now to insert this user into, or to create this user into our, okay, it's meant to be age. So now to create this user in our database, we are going to use the method insert on our collection. So the method insert just returns an error. So we'll do error should be equals to collection insert. So we'll just simply put ampersand u. So it takes in a pointer. So that's what it does. So we'll check for our error. I'll just simply say if so we'll just return errors. Should we return errors new? Errors new. So we say error inserting For error creating user in database, I think that's creating user in database. Then we'll just see errors that need text in a string. And we can just say plus error.error. So in my video on error handling, I made mention of this error method. So what this error method does is convert an error to a string. So it just returns the message, the string message in the error. So I haven't imported errors. I have to import package errors. So we use insert to do that. So after that, we just return new. So that's what our create user does. So let's just create a new user and see if it works. So back in our function, we just call from create user. So we just say if error create user. So I can just say the first name should be Naruto, then the last name Uzumaki, then the gender male, then the age 16. So if the error is not equals to nil, we just print out the error. So that's what we do. Then we'll return. Else we'll print user successfully created. So let's run our code and see what we get. Comment this out. Let me comment all the functions that we haven't written. Let me comment them out. I guess that's where the error is coming from. So run our code. So the user has been successfully created. So when we read, we will see if we're able to create our user truly or not. So the next one we'll be doing now is reading. So what we do just do is just give us back our user. So it will just take in the first name string and to return our user back to us. So it will return a user. So what this does is, so to read from database, we'll be using the method find on our collection. So first have to create a user. So we use the method find on our collection to get the user from the database. So we say error if error should be collection dot find. So find takes in a query. So the query is just simply a bsin.m. So bsin.m is just a map of string to any type, map of string to empty interface, which is map of string to any type. So the bsin.m, inside this bsin.m, will be specifying the name that we want to find. So since we are using the first name to look for the particular document in the collection, so we just simply say, and remember I said the names in database will be stored with this struct tags here, with this bsin struct tags here. So we are using our first name, so we just simply say first bsin.m. Then the first should just be f. then .1. So we are looking for just one. So say ampersand u. So we are writing. So we are getting the document from the collection with find. Then we are writing it into our user that we created. So error not equals to new. We want to log a message. Error getting user. Then we want to return an empty user struct because we couldn't get any user. And then from here we'll just return. So if there was no error, that means the find was successful. So return u. Yeah, so this should be it. So let's run our code. So here we just simply, so we created one for Naruto Uzumaki. So remember the first name is Naruto. So we just say user should be, or us should be get user Naruto. So from here we just print out everything. Print us dot first last gender. We just print out all the information we are having. So let's run our code and see what happens. Line 53. What does it say? Oh. So I'm calling in from package bsyn. So where else again are we having a problem? Nowhere. Missing function body. I mistakenly uncommented this once. I'm not supposed to uncomment them. So that means we got our information back. So we have our Naruto Uzumaki mail system. That means we're able to read from the database successfully. That is that. So the next one we'll be talking about now is updating. So to update, so our func update will just take in. So it will take in two parameters. The first one is the field we want to update. Or we'll take in a key. Let's say the key we are using is the first name. So which is going to direct us to the particular document we want to update. Then the second thing we'll be taking in is also what we want to update. So taking first name and last name string. So this one is going to just return a message for us or string. So this first name, this F here is the first name. So I'm just assuming that what we want to update here is the last name, but we're using the first name to look for a document in the database. So to update a user, we'll be using the method update on our collection. So we'll say collection dot update. So this update takes in two parameters. The first one is actually an empty interface of the field that we want to, or the document, a key to direct us to the document we want to update. So that will just be bsyn.m. So it's going to be first f. So what this means is that we are going to go into our collection, then we'll go to the documents that has the first name with the first name is specified into our update user info. So that's the documents we are going to be updating. So to second one is now the particular value we want to update. So that one's also going to be a bsyn then into this place, so we have to specify what we want to update there. So in MongoDB there's actually a particular keyword called $set. So $set is actually used to update a particular field in a document without having to change the whole field. So we'll just do $set, then we'll call under basin.m here. So we want to update the field we want to update now is the last name, and we want to change the last name to the L parameter that we are passing into our update user info function. So this one returns an error also. So if error not equals to nil, so we'll just simply log.print name, or we can just simply we can print out the error, or we can return. I'm thinking of the best way to handle this error here. So we can just return forms.print f. Yes, so we're going to return form.printf error of updating user last name. Yeah, then we'll do percentage v of error. That's how I want to return. Else we just return user updated successfully. Or let's just return an error instead. Let's return an error. So I'll just simply wrap everything into errors.new. So instead of having forms.printf, I'll just say errors new. I think this should be a better way to do stuff. Errors new. So we're going to return errors new with this message: the error between user last name and the information from the error. Return an error. So else you just return new. So we'll call our update user info inside our main function and see what happens. So I'll just simply say if error should be equals update user info. So the document we want to update has the first name of Naruto. So if you notice, I created Naruto with a capital N, so I'm actually keeping that convention. So every time I'm using Naruto, I'm always starting with a capital N. But when you are working, you can actually just use maybe strings dots to lower or strings dots to upper to convert all your information in the database to uppercase or lowercase for uniformity. So you can just always wrap all your arguments in string dot to upper or strings dot to lower. So then we want to change his name from Uzumaki to Namikaze. That's his father's name. Yeah, I think that is it. Then if the error is not new, so we'll just simply log the error out. And we'll return. So else we just else we just print out update successful. Yeah, that should be it. So let's run our code and see what we get. think Golang is just telling me that I'm not using these functions. So update successful, that means our update was successful. So to just make sure it's successful, let us just quickly recall get user again and see if the update was successful. So we just simply, I'll just backtrack the code and do get user back and see if we're having Naruto Namikaze instead of Naruto Uzumaki. So let's see. So I want to call get user back and see if we're having Naruto Namikaze instead of Naruto Uzumaki. So we're having Naruto Namikaze. So the update was successful. So the last thing to do now is delete, which is the final function. So delete. So delete just takes in the field we want to delete, and in this case is the username. So field string. So to delete, so this one returns an error also. So to delete the user, we just simply use the method remove. So use method remove to delete. So the remove just takes in a parameter which is also of type empty interface. That will be bsyn.m. So first, and first is just the field, which is the first name in this case. Yeah, and this one also returns an error. So if and if the error is not equals to nil, so we can just do return errors new. Just copy everything here. Return errors new. Deleting document failed. Document failed. Else return new. So I guess that is it. I think that should be what we will have. So let us call delete user on. Or before that, let us actually insert another one before we delete. So let us insert another document. So we'll create first before we delete. So we'll create let me call create. Create user. So I'm going to be creating Sasuke Uchiha, and it's also a new. I think Sasuke is also 16 like Naruto. No, it's also 16. Yeah. So then we can return. So let us just quickly create under user Sasuke. So it's successfully created under user Sasuke. So let us delete Naruto out of our database. So we'll be left with Sasuke. So to do that, we just call delete user. So the name we're deleting is Naruto. So it returns an error. Yeah, so let's delete and see if it works. So we've deleted Naruto from our database. So let's go and see if we get Naruto back. So let us just do get user back for Naruto and see what we'll have. So I can just simply get user back. So I'll just backtrack this code. This also I'm backtracking. So I want to get Naruto back. So remember, get user, if it wasn't successful, it just returns an empty user struct for us. So if you get an empty user struct, that means Naruto is not in our database anymore. So let us try and get Naruto and see if we'll be able to get Naruto back. So it's even telling us that error getting user not found. That means Naruto is not even in the database. So that means the deleting was successful. So that will be all for today's video. Once again, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. And also, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up and ring the notification bell so when I release new videos, you'll be the first to be notified.